Hello and welcome back to this special episode of the Level Cap podcast because Brad is away and Marco shall play. And otherwise.
Why is that always your intro? Why is it always your intro? Oh, I'm back, by the way. If you don't know who I am, my name is Cameron Seki-Najemski. I'm lead developer on PTO and client developer on BCO.
Yes. And he is also my friend.
Yes, that's good. That's good. You're my friend too, Marco. That's good.
Oh, man. Wonderful. So why is that always my intro? Because Brad and I spent the first 5 episodes of this podcast trying to think of an intro, and I always ended up saying otherwise, and then I guess that stuck. And now Brad's trying to do different intros, and then he doesn't let me do the intros sometimes, so I just sneak in otherwise at the end.
A little bit of fact. I listen to the podcast for a few reasons, but I'm an avid listener just for Brad, because he reveals things. And so I know what I'm working on the next 2 weeks because he'll say it on the podcast. I'll be like, oh, okay, I've got to do this.
So this is, you listening to the podcast is kind of like Brad, like you knowing what Brad wants you to do before Brad gets into a meeting with you to tell you what you need to do.
So like, for example, I think it's last podcast. So we were scheduled to release Evil Hikaru in BCO. And then he's like, on the podcast, he's like, we're releasing an ath. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, no. But
so I've got to listen to it.
Did he actually message you or something, telling you that it should be an ath?
No, I always find out on the podcast what I'm doing. So...
That means if we ever... Wait, what are you going to do now, Cameron? This podcast doesn't have Brad in it. How are you going to listen to this podcast next week? And then suddenly you're like, oh man, I can't. Oh. Then you don't know what to do. And then you get no work done. How about that?
But now it's just a reminder. It's like you've
a reminder
got to do this.
Okay, I guess. So everyone, welcome to the Level Cap podcast, a special episode. Brad is currently away on a trip. It's going to be a wonderful episode, even without Brad, you know. I promise. Please don't leave. But seriously, we're going to be doing our usual segments. We're also going to be talking to Cameron about some cool stuff in Cameron's segment. But before we get to that, let's start with our first and very, very important segment. What have you been doing? So, Cameron, I personally, as the host of this podcast, would like to politely ask you, what have you been doing this week?
Well... I was going to reveal more stuff in the pipeline when we talk about it a little bit more, but
stop. Don't talk about the thing you'll talk about in the pipeline. And don't talk about work. What you've been doing is all about the stuff you do in your off time. Though knowing you have none.
I've been buying board games.
Wait, what? I thought you didn't play board games, Mr. No GM Ski.
So me and my son sat down and we said, we're going to plan out our perfect board game. Like, exactly, because I'm buying a 3D printer and I thought I could print off miniatures and do all this stuff. And as per Brad's recommendation. And so me and my son sat down and we were just writing down this, like, pages of ideas. And anyway, I looked up online to try to find some inspiration for what would work in the sense, like what people have done. And it turned out there was already a board game exactly down to the spec that we designed.
Nice. What was it? What was this board game?
Arena of the Planeswalkers by Magic the Gathering / Hasbro.
I've seen that. I've seen that for sale in some of my local hobby shops. How is it? Did you get it already?
I got one part of it, because when I saw the game and I learnt the mechanics exactly how we planned it, there's a few differences. Like, we thought that if you're on a raised height, you should get one range. But in Arena of the Planeswalkers, if you're on raised height, you should get one extra attack. Like, Anakin, I have the high ground kind of thing. So
It's over, Anakin.
So, like, there's a slight differences, but I already knew how to play the game without even reading the rule book, literally. So it was really good. So I just went out and bought every expansion it had in the base game and all the expanded base game versions. And I got one of them today. Yesterday. And I'm expecting the rest to arrive tomorrow, and I can't wait to have fun with that. It looks great.
Oh man, is your son excited? I mean, like, is your son excited at least?
Yeah, we were like, I showed him a video of it, and he's like, "This is just what we did," and
nice.
was so surprised. That the only difference is in ours too. We had enchantments that had durability, so like armor would take damage when you got hit, but in theirs it's more like if you get hit then you remove it, so it's really so it was exactly the same, just different, like in that sort of sense, and it's really good. Like, I'm so happy that they've designed it. It's a bit of a shame that they've discontinued it, but I think I can have some fun with the army building and deck building aspect anyway with what they've got.
Yeah, is the deck built? Is it like a deck of cards that you draw from? Is that it?
There's two. So there's an army builder where you've got 500 points to build a 500 points to build a
miniature army
of figurines. Yeah. So figurines, and then you've got your side deck, which is
spells.
You've got 200 points. Yeah, spells, enchantments, trap cards, all that sort of stuff, and it's the same Magic the Gathering flavor where you've got, say, red. And you've got to have red cards. But there are a few dual-typed, planeswalkers, which are which are the leaders. And so you can mix and match your deck, and it just looks really good. It's based off a game called Heroscape, and that terrain is amazing.
I see.
Yeah,
I see.
It's great.
Oh man, it reminds me of what you're talking about. Really reminds me of a game. Mage Wars? It reminds me of Mage Wars too. Actually, that entire game, Duel of Planeswalkers, reminds me of Mage Wars. So that's pretty fun.
Well, I'm going to have to pick that game up too then. Because that sounds good.
Yeah, I think the cool thing about Mage Wars, in my opinion, is the way they do the deck. Because there's no deck. You just have you have a thing called a spell book. And what actually happens is the game comes with its own binders. Card binders. And your deck is actually just the cards you put in that binder. Because you're a mage, and it's your spell book.
That's cool.
Yeah, so
That's
instead
really
of instead of having a deck, you literally have to sift through this binder of spells you have and pick out the cards, aka the spells that you want to cast. It's a pretty interesting thing. I like that.
Yeah, that's cool. That sounds good. I'll check it out once. As soon as the podcast is done, I'm going to go Google it and try and get a copy if it's in my interest.
Yes, you should. Okay, Cameron.
What have you been What have you been doing, Marco?
Oh my gosh! You know, in the docket here, it says I'm going to talk about K-pop.
Yeah, I see that.
Let's not. Let's not talk about K-pop. Instead, I'm gonna talk about a new thing I've been watching on Netflix. I just finished the first season of a Netflix TV show called Troll Hunters.
Troll Hunters?
Yes.
What does it entail?
It entails hunting trolls. It's a DreamWorks animated Monster of the Week kind of series. So if you like shows like Danny Phantom or in fact like any of the superhero cartoon shows that are out now, so like Danny Phantom, Ben 10, just insert any cartoon show that you've ever watched that has teenagers who lead secret double lives and have superpowers. That's basically what it is. It's really interesting because of one thing, though. Because that entire thing is actually made / produced / directed by Guillermo del Toro of Pan's Labyrinth and Shape of Water fame, I think. Did Guillermo del Toro do Shape of Water? I'm pretty sure he did. It seems very much like him. Yep,
I need
story
to
by
watch.
Guillermo del Toro. There you go.
I need to
So,
watch more shows. I think.
oh my gosh. It's a really good show. I mean, like, it's literally for kids like 7 years old or something, but it's
Oh,
compelling.
yeah.
It actually tackles issues that I didn't think they would tackle on kids' shows. So it tackles issues of like deadbeat parents and like relationships between parents and their kids in mature and really surprisingly poignant ways. That isn't just like, oh, my parents don't understand and my parents are old fashioned and know nothing and stuff like that. So it's pretty interesting. I really like the set of characters. I guess. I there's always like the comic relief character, and then there's like that girl the main character likes, and you've watched
Yeah.
these shows before. You
Yeah,
know what they
I'm
are.
sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Guillermo del Toro touch is the world that they create. I mean, like there's an entire world of trolls living underground, and for example, the reason they don't go above ground is because trolls are like vampires, I guess, because sunlight literally kills them. So, like, there's this entire lore and mythos that they created, and it's really wonderful. I really like the universe. I really like the show. The animation is I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. It's not like the best animation I've seen, but it's serviceable, passable, and the character designs are really great because they really leverage on that cartoony aspect. Like the main character is like really tall and lanky, and his best friend's like really short and pudgy, and then the only quote unquote correctly proportioned person is the girl. So it's pretty cool. I like the concept. Maybe your kids can watch it. I don't know. It's pretty family friendly.
The thing about it is, though, I sit there. I probably laugh the most at like the kids shows because, as I don't know if people know, but I've got 4 kids, all under. Well, my eldest son is pretty old, but my youngest son is only 4 years old, and he loves Peppa Pig and Ben and Holly. And I think I laughed the most at at Ben and Holly and Peppa Pig. Like, just how silly it is. Like, the humour, the dry humour. Oh, it's just so good. I love kids' shows.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh my gosh, you remember? I don't know if you know this scene from Peppa Pig, but there was like a scene where an episode where Peppa tries to whistle but she can't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh my
And
gosh,
George
and then
whistles.
and then she calls her friend, right? Going like, I'm sad that I can't whistle. And then the friend's like, I can't whistle either. And then she's like, really? What's whistling? Says the friend. And then she goes like, it's when you put your lips together and blow. You mean like this? And then the friend whistles. And then Peppa just hangs up. Doesn't skip a beat. It just hangs up the phone.
Yeah, that's the sort of stuff I watch it for. That was Susie Sheep. The sheep she was talking to is Susie Sheep, and she just whistles. Yeah, that was a great episode too. Oh,
The mere fact that you know all of the character names is amazing to me.
I know every episode off by heart. I think we've got every DVD of Peppa Pig and Ben and Holly.
Wait a
it's
minute.
funny.
Peppa Pig has a set number of episodes? What?
Yeah.
It's over?
They've got
It's there
season.
no.
I know. No, I've got everyone made up until now. Like, does that make sense? Like, so far, that what they've made.
I see. How many episodes of Peppa Pig are there in total?
Oh, heaps. 100 something.
100 something? Are you telling me there's
Yeah.
more episodes of Peppa Pig than Dragon Ball?
Possibly, yeah. Because you gotta remember, it's only a 10-minute show. And they animate
Oh.
it with, like, Flash or something.
Yeah. It does kind of look like
think-
cardboard. I mean, that was the point, right? They look like cardboard cutouts or something?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. We got into the Peppa Pig. How did we get this far, Marco?
we have strayed away from the correct path. So let's end this segment. That's what we've been doing. Apparently, Cameron just watches Peppa Pig the entire time. For this next segment, I like to call it our special character of the week. Our character of the week for this week is Cameron himself. Cameron, what do you want to talk about on this episode of the podcast? Talk about anything you want that's related to Level 99 games, news, or otherwise.
So as people know, I got announced that Anath would be getting released on the podcast. So I've been preparing her for BCO release. BCO update is huge this week. not this week. It's coming out on the 7th of May, 8th of May, around that time anyway.
Happy birthday to
It
me.
is absolutely... Oh, is it your birthday?
On the 5th of May.
Oh, around then. So we'll make a note in the patch for you.
Yeah. Okay. So what's happening on this patch? Why is it so huge?
So basically every game that's been played in BCO and continue to be played in BCO is forming the AI for the server. So if you've lost to a pair with another pair, that would have been recorded and the AI is going to do that to you again. So it's a brain version of what we've been doing. So every human has been inputting to the AI, and it's just crazy insane. Chad, the server engineer, has been working on it for a long time now, but we only recently decided to start making it a reality. How it's going to work is you're going to choose one of your fighters. So I don't know if we're doing it take this with a pinch of salt because we don't know exactly how it's going to work. But either you can choose one of your fighters that you own and you can verse it against one of the fighters that you don't own, or it's going to be the reverse. You can choose one that you don't own, like practice mode, and verse it against something that you do own, or it could be both or neither. So I don't know, it's hard to explain how the menu's going to form just yet because we haven't got to the stage of developing the menu for the game, for the AI yet. Of course, we've done the mock-ups and the screenshots of how we want it to look and stuff, but the actual functionality of it, we don't know yet. Because there's a lot of reasons why, but there's just simply we don't know if we should allow it, because then you think about it from a standpoint of logistics. Then you just play people you don't own. You're versing pretty much human AI anyway, so it's basically like playing a game with characters you don't own. Does that make sense, Margo?
Yeah. I mean, the AI is not bad. It's barely noticeable, especially in a game like BattleCon, where what do you call this? A game like BattleCon, where the quote unquote AI all has to do is select 2 cards. So
yeah, that's right. And it just has to do an option or 2. It's really... So it's hard to explain what we will do, but the AI is the huge update. We fixed a lot of bugs mid-patch. Not many people knew about this, actually. But we released an update without anyone knowing that fixed a few bugs. With Mikhail, there was a certain crash. What's so funny?
I'm sorry, you just reminded me of the Mikhail bug that happened on stream.
Oh, yeah. We fixed that. Actually, that bug was serious. So, we fixed that within about 3 or 4 hours. I saved the game because I was watching it live and I saw it happen. And so I went into my dashboard for the server and I saved the game so we could look and review over what happened. And, we fixed that within 2 hours of that happening.
So Cameron, can you please explain what happened? Maybe some people who are watching haven't seen it or haven't seen the VOD or the stream. What happened?
A person was playing Mikhail on stream and they did something and it turned every single style they had into hallowed. It wasn't even just his discard pile either, I don't think. It was his whole hand was hollow.
Nice. My whole hand is hollowed.
So his whole kit was hollow. I think even Switch was hollow too.
Oh, and man. So, OP.
So, and they all functioned the same as hollow. So it wasn't just Switch just had a different image. They're actually hollow. So all he could play was hollow. The card hollowed. Is it hollow or hollowed?
HALLOWED. Hollowed.
Okay, hollowed. Hollowed, yeah.
Hallowed hollow.
That was... English. So we had this crash with Mikhail where he did fancy stuff when he didn't anti a seal, and very rarely, and I'm saying this very, very, very rarely, he would crash a game when he attacked. We fixed that. Then we fixed all the quests not being given out to certain people. And that was a midday patch. And so people were so excited that they got their quests back and they could start making easy gold again. And then we started preparing for the next one. So we actually did do a patch in between. But this update's taken a lot longer. But we have done a patch in between. But we just haven't released a fighter in between.
Yeah, I see.
As I think I've said, Anath will be next as the fighter. Yes, as Brad said on the podcast, I think it was last week or I don't know when it was, but he said Anath was supposed to be a BCO exclusive, but BCO was taking too long to come out, so they made it a promo so people could use their codes.
Yep.
So we have done some revisions on Anath, I'm pretty sure, and that's Daniel doing revisions on that. And even Evil Hikaru is next planned one after Anath, which I kind of like. But the main news of the pipeline is that Brad put me back onto PTO.
Yes.
He's like. When I said it, I was like cheering. I'm like, yes, finally, like clapping and stuff. And he's like, don't sound too excited to get back onto PTO. Like I've been dreaming of this day my whole life. But yeah, so I'm back on PTO. I'm doing PTO part-time and BCO part-time. So I think I do about 2 or 3 days of BCO and 3 or 4 days of PTO now. And
oh my gosh.
I decided to start doing the server from scratch from all the stuff I've learnt from BCO and Chad, because he's just absolutely amazing how he sets things up. And I thought, you know what, if PTO can do this, then we could actually have a serious contender for a game where we can just easily patch clients without needing to re-roll things and just do updates within instance. Like, for example, I don't know if people know, but Marco actually works on PTO as a balancer / my guru if I want to do something.
Yep.
So, like, I'll say to Marco, should I do this? And he'll say yes or no, basically. So I answer to Marco in that sense.
Yay, I'm useful!
And so, for example, Marco can go into this website, instantly change or nerf a card or buff a card for that reason, patch it out, and people won't even know until they log in, relog the client.
Oh, it's going to be so good.
Yeah, so I've been working on that, and so far I've spent like about, I don't know, 5 days on PTO V2, and I've already pretty much finished. The only thing I've got left to do is move and attack, and then I've rewrote PTO in their new version.
Oh man,
So,
do you have all the new keywords too? Like decoy?
no. So I've only got 3 functions at the moment because I'm setting it up as a trigger function system. And so all I've got is adjust stat, draw card, and I've got, what's it called? Form shift. Because the hardest leader to program, people won't believe this, but the hardest leader to program in PTO is Callister. Because Callister removes all the buffs, then applies new buffs depending on if they're the first player or not, which is attack 3 first player and armor 1 if they're the second player. Now, it doesn't sound that hard, but in PTO V1, that was near impossible to do. That's why I programmed Callister first. So
okay.
Yeah. Callister was really tricky. Everyone else was super easy compared to Callister. And it's just mind-boggling why that took me so long to do.
Here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Which leader is the easiest to code?
Easiest to code? It'd have to be something like Lysandra was really, really easy. Because basically I just made a variable called free recruit, and on summon of Lysandra, it gives free recruit to this player, and so you could just, and then I just on summon check for free recruit. If it has free recruit, don't take an action. That was probably the easiest one.
I see. Huh.
So, like, framework-wise. But easiest using the engine without making another thing would probably be something like, definitely not Kage, but like where you give a Vanguard armor 2 or whatever it was, and intercept.
And death proof.
Something like... Yeah, and death proof. Probably something like Hikaru, where it gives everyone 3 strength. Or, sorry, it's nerfed.
2 strength. 2 strength.
Yeah. So, Hikaru was really pretty simple to do. It's basically like, on summon, give strength 3. Basically.
Yeah,
so,
2.
Yeah.
2.
2. Sorry, 2. Sorry.
It's okay. Cameron, we understand. It's been a while.
Yeah, I keep thinking Callista's strength 3. Why haven't we nerfed her yet? Jesus.
Because she doesn't always have strength 3. That's the point.
But yeah, so that's what I've been working on. It's been great. I love getting back to PTO and going back to my CCG roots and stuff. It's always fun to wake up in the morning and go, I can work on PTO this morning. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love working on BCO. I love the team. I love everything about it. But PTO is more of my creation than Brad's. Like, Brad obviously gave me the license to make it. But I said, maybe we should make it a CCG. Maybe we should make it constructed. And because originally the plan was that he wanted to just do a draft every time. So you'd just select which series you wanted.
Oh, okay.
But, so you'd like queue in with Pixel Tactics 1. But, and Brad did want to do a constructed version, but we ended up just going full constructed, and he pretty much gave me free reign on PTO, which is, as a game developer, is just so much fun to experiment with things. Mm-hmm. So I thank Brad for that.
Oh my gosh.
Free reign.
Speaking of free reign, Cameron, earlier today we just spent like an hour or something talking about PTO strategies with Icy Drake. Shout out to Icy Drake, by the way, the best PTO player we have on the server. It's crazy, man. Like, I'm so excited. I mean, as much as you enjoy it, again, like, don't get me wrong, I love BCO. Like, BattleCon is like probably my top board game of all time, but being able to man, there's just something about CCGs. I really love deck building, and PTO is a deck builder's paradise. Literally, the entire game's thing is there are no deck restrictions outside of 30 cards and duplicates of 2. Outside of that, like, any card can go into any freaking deck.
Yeah. Actually, didn't I bring up the factions thing? I came to you and said maybe we should do factions, and you're just like, no, that just ruins the whole game.
I mean, it doesn't ruin the whole game, but more of like, it makes the game significantly like weirder and like totally different, because that means we'd have to figure out which faction does what and how do we give each faction an identity, and then aside from that, we can't do it and it will ruin the game because we don't have enough cards to support that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, in the future, like, when you had 100 or 200 cards, then you'd think about, like, making control or what leaders. But I guess that's the cool thing about PTO is that you can have the most controlling leader and you can make it into the most aggro deck, and then somehow you've got a mid-range deck. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, of course. Oh, my God.
Like, just the flexibility that PTO gives is just so good. And do you know what I really love about PTO? Is the customization. You know, like the card backs, the lands. You know, you can build an army with a theme. It's not just a deck. It's more like my army.
Oh my gosh, it's too true. It's too true. You know, I'm not really a fluff guy, but you know me, I always like coming in with the gear card back.
Yeah. Isn't that the pre-alpha card back?
Yes, exactly. I use it because my username is like mechanic critic, right? Like I'm a mechanic,
Oh,
so I use
yeah,
that
that's
card back,
cool.
right?
I
Make me a
used a little
special card
99
back.
staff one.
Oh,
I used.
staff one.
Wait, don't you have the staff one? I'll give it to you.
No, I do. I just prefer
Oh, okay.
I just prefer the gear one because it's me.
I think we should. Or what?
It's
Yeah.
me. I mean, like,
I think we should make like a card backs to honor like some people that have stayed so truthful to the PTO community.
make an ice dragon.
Yeah, like an ice dragon one, and like not make them promos or anything like that. Like just give them out. Do you know what I mean? Like card
Yeah.
backs should just be like just given out. Like maybe we should make it spend 10 gold and get this card back. It's a memorial for someone. You know what I mean?
Don't say
Like, there's some
memorial
people
because that makes it sound like
not
that
memorial.
person's
Sorry.
not-
Sorry, it's
Honor
Memorial
or
Day in
shout
Australia.
out.
It's Memorial Day in Australia. I don't know why every shop's closed. That's why I didn't get my board games today.
I see.
But yeah, but like a tribute to how long Icy has stick around, how long Bane's stuck around, and just like there's so many people that are just stuck around for months and months, just waiting on me to pick up PTO again. So I really treasure them. I really treasure all our communities. And it's great because they make me feel so warm and welcome sometimes. Most of the time, I should say.
Well, all the time for me. Let's not forget some of the new people that came in. Like, I don't know how to pronounce his name. I'm sorry. Is it like Bjorn Fort? Bjorn Fought? I don't know. Yeah, but Bjorn Fought, great. We're so happy to have you in our community as well. PTO is not as big as BCO just yet. I think we have significantly less users, but then again, it's not actually out yet-ish. So, we're going to get there, Cameron. We're going to get there. The two of us, you and me together, we're going to balance the cards, put them out, and make sure that we have a project that people enjoy. This is going to pull a significantly different crowd from BCO anyway. So let's see if we can stand beside the giants that are Hearthstone and Shadowverse and Duelist, I guess.
I think our main competition is Duelist in that sense. That's a strategy card game. But to be fair, I'm not saying Duelist is bad, but I don't like the hand limit in Duelist. It's one of the things I didn't like about it, and that's what I love about PTO is that there's no hand limit.
Well, no, wait. Hey, let's not be insane here. There is a hand limit. It's like, 15 cards, which is half your entire deck?
Oh, that's right. I nerfed it because that one person created like 256 copies of a card in his hand, didn't he?
Yep, and then he overflowed the hand size, and then that gave him negative cards or something, right? Like it
it was something like that.
It bugged the game. Shoutouts to my friend Icon. He was the one who did that. He literally spent an hour just using doppelgangers to duplicate priestesses into his hand so that he would get above 200 something cards in his hand. It didn't crash the game, but it was running at 2 FPS at that point or something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That was crazy. So yeah, that's the pipeline. Cameron and I just kind of geeked out about PTO. Are we expecting more cards from PTO, Cameron? For PTO, I mean? Or is it just going to be architecture? Are we just trying to get PTO V2 out? Then we'll worry about new cards.
So if I get PTO V2 out, you will be able to add a card in approximately 3 minutes and patch it out to everyone. It'll take you. All you need to do is fill in, say, this triggers on this and that function does that. And then you just press OK, and it sends it out to all the clients, and then they'll have the card in theirs. So, yes, we can definitely add new cards. 100%. It's not hard.
Gosh. It's going to be great. We're finally going to be able to add the wrestler card that won that contest. So that's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. That wrestler card is pretty cool, too. It has a really cool effect.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. We got to do that.
Oh, we got to do that. All right. So that pretty much does it for the pipeline segment. And we're going to move on to our 99 questions segment. The segment where Cameron and I do our very best to capture the essence of your question, process it in our sultry bakery shop, therefore giving us the mighty bread of questioning, which we will then consume and feed to our young ones, and they will gain the ultimate knowledge to deliver the answers straight from their lips into your wonderful ears.
I love these. Oh, this is great. These intros.
Ah, yes. Welcome to the 99 Questions segment, where I, your host, Margo DeSantos, will now ask Cameron and myself some questions submitted by you from the community. And yes, I never plan those intros. It just comes to me. Something possesses me. I think it's the spirit of ingenuity. So, number one, what character in BattleCon do you think is the least fun to fight against? Cameron, you have some BattleCon experience. What do you think?
I've got very minimal BattleCon experience. So I only really play Brad. And me and Brad play so he can say, I don't like this, I like this, kind of thing, right? But
Sure.
Brad once versed me with Rookyuk. And he was using reload every 3 turns as a second dodge. With dodge as well as dodge. So every two out of 3 turns, he was dodging all my attacks. So I'm going to say Rookyuk. And I just said to Brad, because I'm just terrible. I'm not that great at BattleCon. But I just said to Brad, how is this just not that overpowered? And he turns to me and he says, you're just pretty bad. I'm like, well, okay, that's fair enough. But, yeah, so he was treating them as dodges. And so I'm like, wow, a character with 2 dodges. And then I think I played someone with Rookyuk after that, and they just wiped me with it. I think it was Elephant I played after that, and they perfect me or something. I'm just like, well okay.
Well, also to be fair, it's Elephant.
Yeah, but I'd say Rookyuk definitely is the least fun. Just from that one experience so I've got to say Rookyuk. What about you, Marco?
Well, you're not going to appreciate this because you don't really play a lot. At least not as much as some of the fans that we have, right? I mean, like, come on. Elephant is like, so many games. Anyway,
yeah.
I probably really dislike fighting against Thasala from Fate. She's just... so Thasala's a Cameron... Because Thasala's a character.
Is that the bugs?
No. That's Kaja. That's Kaja.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yep, go on.
Thasala's the one with the evolution board. So so think about this, Cameron. Like, you're the guy who codes some of the stuff in PTO, right? BCO.
Yeah.
So
I still code every effect that you see.
All right. So try implementing this character, okay? Thasala has an evolution board at the start of the game. Yeah, exactly. Thasala basically has a talent tree, all right? And the talent tree spreads into 4 different corners. And in each quarter of the board is around 10 spaces. So she basically has a board with 40 or something spaces on it. Just think about that, all right? Keep that in mind. Every turn, she can put a marker on one of the spaces. And whatever that space says, she gets that bonus.
Oh, God. That's like a few days' work. That's crazy.
So she can do that. Oh, but wait, Cameron, there's more.
Oh, no.
She has styles that allow her to remove markers from her board. But the markers don't have... So, for example, she goes 3 spaces deep into a quadrant. Then she can remove the second marker. So suddenly, she has 1 marker, an empty space, and then a marker that's just there.
Wait. That's, like, really tricky to implement. Like, she'd need a whole custom thing just for her.
Yes. So... Why do I hate this character? Number 1, so it's basically impossible to plan around what the heck she's gonna do, right? Because it's like, one of the antis is like +4 power. The other one is +4 priority. The other one is attacks can't hit you this beat. And I'm like, they're also vastly different. You just can't play around what she'll do. So it just feels like you can't predict what the hell she's doing. I hate Also, she has one of the most broken finishers in the game. So there you go. Slaughterhouse.
More
Broken.
than Luke's.
Okay, Slaughterhouse. Range 1, Power 3, Priority 4. Start of beat. Place a marker on an empty slot on the board. Gain the effects.
Oh, jeez. So it's
So
literally near impossible to play around in that sense.
Yeah, and it's start of beat. So remember, so start of beat means she sees your attack pair before she has to do the effect.
Yeah, so if she's getting beat, she just soaks.
Yep.
Jeez.
Or if you're faster than her, no, she's faster than you. Yeah. So yeah. Oh, by the way, Cameron, I'm gonna literally send you what the board looks like right now. Just check our chat.
Yeah, just wait. Oh God, I would not like to do this. Implementing this in BCO. It'd have to be like a custom UA kind of thing. I don't know how it would be implemented. Yeah. I mean, the stats wise is pretty simple to do, but the actual UI to show you where it's placed and stuff, well, that's not easy to do.
Yep.
Wow.
Also, I failed to realize this, but the quadrants aren't actually symmetrical. They're symmetrical in which spaces there are, but the paths connecting the spaces aren't symmetrical.
Yeah, they're just they could go either way.
Oh my gosh, whatever, man. I dislike playing against the Sala. There you go, question asker. Question answered. Okay, are you ready for the next question, Cameron?
Sure.
All right. Is there a theme you haven't seen in a board game that you want to see in a board game?
I don't really play board games. I'm not going to lie. I don't really play board games, even though I'm trying to get into it. Working for level 99, try out different board games, but I'm very picky with them. However, I don't know if this exists, but I would like it to exist. But a miniature game based around Ragnarok theme, like the death of Norse gods. I think that would be really cool.
Ooh, I'm pretty sure there's a game like that. You know what, listeners? If you know the name of the game, and if you have a game in mind that fits Cameron's description, please tell us in the comment section down below so Cameron can go buy it.
Yeah, tell me so I can go buy it, because I'd like to do it. I'm trying to buy more board games. I was going to go to my local board game store and just pick up something. Just for the sake of picking it up and adding to my... Because I've got a full bench of stuff. Bookcase of stuff, but it's all just level 99 products. I even got doubles of level 99 products.
Oh, man.
So I'm trying to fill it out. I'm trying to fill it out with more stuff than just level 99 products. So yeah, if you do know, comment it, please, because I read the comments and I will answer it.
Oh, that's great. So, I guess for me, is there a theme you haven't seen in a board game that you want to see? I don't think anybody has done this, but I want someone to make a true-to-life MMO board game that's not on the computer. I want someone to make an MMO board game that's you just play it on a table with your friends at home.
Oh, wait, so it's an actual tabletop game, board game, but it's on a table with a screen?
No. It's just a regular board game, but the theme is multiplayer online RPG. It's an MMO board game.
And isn't that World of Warcraft board game then?
No. Because the World of Warcraft board game is just Warcraft the board game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean.
They say it's the World of Warcraft, yes, but it doesn't play or feel like an MMO. It's just the world of the MMO, but it's not an MMO game.
So explain the mechanic then, Marco. I'm failing to see how this would work.
I don't know.
I'm curious.
So what are the defining characteristics of an MMO game? Number one, creating... grinding, that's one, right? Number two, getting into guilds and raids, right? Or unlocking new jobs, new classes, grinding for loot, finding secrets on the map, doing quests, whatever, right? So I don't know, maybe there's a mechanic or something that has you grind like the game. Okay, this sounds dumb, but what if it actually took 5 real life hours to do something in the game? Or something or something like that. Or what if there was a cool system wherein you had a character sheet or something that was compatible with any copy of the game? That way, if you went over to somebody's house who has a copy of the game, you can quote unquote import your character into the game easily and then like do a raid with them, right? So what if it's not like a board with a set map or whatever? What if it was a system that allowed you to create raids, create encounters and whatever, and the main goal of this MMO board game is that you can play certain things by yourself to grind your character, but that you only do that so that when you meet up with your friends on the weekends, you can all do the really hard raid that takes 4 people to do, right? So at home, when you're by yourself, you can play it alone and grind, but then when you meet up with your friends, you guys party and try to take on the bigger content in the game. So it kind of feels like it captures that MMO experience of like you play by yourself, but you can't do any of the big content on your own, right? So like that's the beauty of the MMO to me, right? And so there's the grinding aspect, there's the teamwork aspect. Who knows? I don't know. If this is a real game, please tell me. I would love to play it.
Yeah, this sounds like a great game. I'd like to play it too. It sounds like the best between all worlds. Oh,
quick! We can't release this episode of the podcast. TM. We're gonna make it TM. TM. If you make this game, we're gonna sue you.
Yeah. Copyright. Slapped.
Yeah. Okay. Last question, Cameron.
Okay.
Why is Mikhail the greatest character?
I'm not going to assume something, but I think it's because he's an angel. That's why. Simple.
Sorry, you're wrong.
He's not an angel.
No, he's not an angel. He's a Virian.
He's like yeah. So he's not. Well, there you go. He's cool because he's not an angel.
Oh, I like that. I think Mikhail is the greatest character because his attack animation involves him shooting mini versions of himself at people.
Oh, in the BCO thing. Brad's like, so Brad says to me about that, right? He's like, I want to see Mikhail just constantly getting warped around the screen and stuff. And so I did it how he wanted it. And I'm like, this is just way too much. And so I ended up just making it shine and Mikhail pops out and goes up into the heavens.
No, but you have to understand, okay, listener, you have to understand that this isn't the Mikhail stand-up shining and then flying into the heavens. No. When Mikhail attacks the enemy, another Mikhail pops up to where the enemy is. Your Mikhail is still on the board, but there is another Mikhail that pops up to where the enemy is and then flies up and fades into heaven.
Now it sounds really dumb that I did it that way.
What it looks like is Mikhail is attacking you by sending himself. Like he makes a shadow clone and then the shadow clone flies into heaven. I don't understand.
I'm going to change that now. Now that you mentioned it, it sounds dumb, but it was supposed to be a silhouette, like him giving his blessings down towards the person before he hits them. That was the whole idea.
I see.
But now that you said it, I'm like, I want to change that now. Oh my god.
I'm not saying it's bad, okay? I'm just saying it's silly. I thought that was the entire point, though. I thought like Mikhail's Mikhail, so he can send miniature versions of himself to attack you.
It's funny because at the time I was working on the Seraphina attack animations. And what happens is, with Seraphina, it was the most complex animations I've ever done. But Seraphina doesn't actually move or attack. She's got a pop-up that pops up and it's a blue hologram version of her. And she'll punch them.
Yep.
So yeah, it was crazy. So I might have got it from Seraphina, making these projectile things. So, rip.
Ripperoonies and pepperonis. Dude, I mean, like, you could just keep the same animation, but, like, your stand-up just disappears when he attacks.
Disappears.
Yeah, his
I'll do
stand-up
that.
should disappear, and then it would make sense. Like
Yeah, I'll
he
do that. That's
like he
fine.
Dragon Ball instant transmissions to where the opponent is, and then pack, and then he flies into heaven, and then he drops back down to where he used to be.
That's what I'll do. I'm like 99% certain I will do that.
All right, goody
So,
goody, Gucci fam, Gucci gang. Okay, so that pretty much does it for our 99 question segment. And Cameron, I'm sad to say, but this episode of the podcast has been going on for a little bit too long, so we have to end right now.
Alright, we'll end right now then.
All right. So as usual, it has been me, your host, Marco De Santos, also known as Mechanic Rick, and with me has been my amazing, splendiferous, awesome, and magaling at magandang co-host.
Cameron?
Yes,
Second
indeed.
Najemski?
Yes, indeed. Cameron Nojemski. If you guys want us to partake in any source of media for what we've been doing segment, you want us to talk about a specific thing about development or a specific character from one of our games, or if you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please put them all in the comment section down below and we will get to them. If you have questions that you want us to answer in our 99 questions segment, please answer our Google form where you can get that question to us as soon as possible. Without much else to say, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. And thank you, Brother Mendines. Thank you, and good night.
Good night, guys.
Happy gaming!